Alright, so this is something I've been thinking about doing for a little bit. I've been wanting to do some example solves with CEOR, which if you don't know, that's the one-handed method I use. Currently, I'm the fastest user with this method. There aren't a lot of people that use the method just because learning it is very challenging. And I do plan to make a tutorial in the future. There is a tutorial currently by Stash, which I'll link in the description, and I'll also link the CEOR server in the description as well. But yeah, in the meantime, I just figured I should do some example solves. So yeah, I'll just get into it, and I'll post these scrambles in the description. So here's the first one. All right, so what I'm looking for is, so I'm X to Y neutral, which means I can solve either white or yellow on the bottom, and then any color on the side for my first block. So what I'm looking for is bars like these that include a bottom color and the side color. So for example, this and this. So I would look at both of these options. So for this one, this is corner permutation solved. The edges aren't in a great spot, but I can work with it if I need to. I believe this will be a 10 move block, which isn't bad. And then for this, the tracing is, these are the swap pair, which is actually pretty nice in this case. I believe with a 9 move block, so I'll do that. So these two are a pair. So to set this up, what I would do is R2U F prime, and that leaves these here for a 5 move extension. So what I do is R2, and then this is solved correctly, wide U2, UR to solve this, and then a wide U prime. And then for edge orientation, what I do so that I can recognize two-sided is when I'm doing partial EO, which is placing an oriented edge at DB, I will look ahead to my two F12 edges, so the FR and BR edges. So since I solved blue first, I'm going to be looking for my green edges, so that's going to be these two. And this one I can place down there with a wide R2, and I know this will end up good. This will end up back here bad. And then here I can recognize two-sided. I have a 6 flip. These two are correct, so I can do U, R2, U. And then while doing this, I'm going to look ahead to my DF and DB edges, which are here. So in this case, I'm going to end with a U prime R, leaving a 3 move stripe. Because this one will pair, this will be down here. And then what I'll sometimes do is also look ahead to my DR edge. So this will stay down here. Okay, and then for right block, there's a few options. What I see is when I insert this, let's see. So I think in a speed solve, what I do is I just insert this, solve this pair, and then actually what I can do is I can do U prime R prime. Here I'll just show, which will set this up, and then when I insert this, I'll have a free pair, so I'll actually do that. That's probably what I wouldn't see in a speed solve, but I just noticed that. Anyway, for 2GLL, it's an L case with a bar here, adjacents here. If you're recognizing here, opposites and adjacent, but this is a 2GLL. Yep. All right. And the second scramble. So I have this bar, I actually have 3 bars, which is pretty good. Okay, looking at green. Okay, this is actually an 8-move block, so I think I'd probably just go with this. So for my tracing, these two are a pair. Let me just double check that. Yeah, these two are a pair. So what I can do is UR and then F, and I'll leave these here, which doesn't seem like a great case, but it's actually not too bad. I can do wide R2, R prime, wide U, put these here, R prime, wide U2. And then looking ahead to good edge to place down there, and my F2L edges, I see this, and then I see this edge here, so I'll do U. This is gonna end up bad. And then this one here, so I see these 4 are my edges, so I'll set them up into a staircase. While doing that, I'll look ahead to my stripe edges, which are here and here. And to do this, I'll end with a U prime R, and then do this 4-mover. And then I have this pair, this and this. I think probably what I would do is just do an R2 and then solve this pair and then do this one, which there's probably a more efficient solution. Sometimes when I don't know what to do, I'll just default to edge and then pair. Anyway, something I've been working on is recognizing 2GLL is two-sided, and it's actually pretty easy because you can just deduce the edge case relative to the corners. So in this case, from my regular angle, I would see adjacents here and then a bar here, but here I just recognize from this. And then I'll actually execute this one-handed to show the algorithm I use. So yeah. All right. Third scramble. So I see this, and I don't see anything else. So to not use too much inspection, I'll just default to this. And then tracing, these are a pair. So I can do a 7-move block pretty easily. So what I'll do is I can solve this with R2F, and then leaving me with a 5-move extension like that. And then looking ahead to edges, this isn't oriented, the center isn't oriented, so I'll look for a bad edge to place here and then do an R. This is bad, and this is a F2 edge, so I'll keep note of that. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Since this ended up here, I'll just do that. And then just from deduction, I know this has to be the other F2L edge, so I got these two, and that'll help me do two-sided recognition. And for this, I'll end with a U prime R prime. That way this will be here, this will be here, I believe. No, actually I ended up down here, that's my fault. Anyway, R2 U prime, wide R2. And then looking, DR edges here, these are a pair. Here I can do actually a 5-move block. So here what I can do is I can do R, U prime R, which will pair this. Also insert this on the way. And I know if I insert immediately, it's going to twist this corner, which isn't great. So, I mean, it's fine, but just to cancel into it, I'll do R, U, R, U prime, and then do this pair. And then 2GLL opposites, adjacents, this is a U case, it's this alg. So yeah. All right, fourth scramble. First thing I see is this. So when you have an F12 pair like this, what I'll do is I'll check green and orange. So green actually doesn't look too bad. Orange I don't think is much better, so I think I'll do green. And then for tracing, these are a pair. So what I can do is, let's see, I think what I would do is, so if I do U2 YRF, these aren't in a great spot. So I think, what I would do is, well, I think I'd probably end off with a, let me see. Yeah, I think what I would do is here, I would do an S prime to preserve this, and then wide F U2 S prime, and then 3-move extension. I'm not sure how many moves that was, but I know it was pretty efficient, which is good. I think it was 7 moves, but I could be wrong. Anyway, looking ahead to partial edge orientation, these 3 are good. This one's bad. This is an F2 edge, so I'll keep note of that. The other one's here, so these 3 are my edges. Now, for one-handed, I use this kind of weird finger trick where I do a table as M prime like that. I just like doing it. So in this case, most people probably do R prime and then wide R. But what I actually do is just an M prime. And then I see this edge, R prime. And then just from deduction, I know the other one has to be down here. So I do that. And then right block, this is kind of a bad case. I think what I just do, I think in this case, I would actually, yeah, I think I just do U, R prime, U prime, and then solve this with a U2. I think the better solution, or solve it with a U. I think the better solution would be to solve it with a U2, but don't do the U2, just like cancel into the last pair. But I don't think I would see that. I'm not sure how to reverse what I just did, so I'm just gonna solve it. Anyway, obviously that wasn't the 2GL I was gonna get, but this case, there's a bar here, counterclockwise U prime sort of thing. Now this alg, I actually don't use the standard like one that goes like that. I use a different one that my friend Yomi showed me. So it goes like this. Yeah, so I just prefer U2s over R2s, so it's a pretty nice alg. All right, and then I'll do one last example. Okay, so here I have this bar, and I don't really see anything else, so I'm just gonna go with that. Tracing is, these are a pair. So here I can do something kind of cool. So I can like solve this with a wide U, and then I'll just keep track of this. I'm gonna pair these up with R prime U R2. That's gonna bring this one down here. And then at the end, I'll do U2 R2 to bring it back, and then F prime. like that, F prime. And now corner permutation solved. And then for bad edges, this one and this one, this is an F2L edge, so I'll keep note of that. U prime R. And then from deduction, I know that this one has to be an F2L edge. And then this is kind of a nasty EO case. What I do is I'll hold it here, do R2, U, R2, U. And then stripe edges are back here, which is also a bad case, but I'll do R, U prime R. Put this one up here, and then R, U to R. Now that was a very unlucky case. There's probably some influencing I could have done, but it's not a big deal. Here, this I can just insert with an R prime, and we have this free pair, so I'll preserve that. And then I'll cancel into this pair. Like that. And then we actually get the same 2GLL I got at the beginning of the video, so that's cool. Alright, so that's all the examples I'm going to do. Again, the scrambles will be in the description along with some other resources. But yeah, thanks for watching.